Tiger Nation. Welcome back to the Roar Rundown. I'm excited to have Ryan Perdue with me as an anchor this week. So Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Katie. It's great to be here.
And speaking of welcoming people, so J.J. Watt announced like mid-February that he'd asked for a release from the Texans, and he got the release. They gave it to him. And he announced on Monday that he's going to the Cardinals. So I think it's going to be exciting to see him kind of there. He'll have a chance to reunite with DeAndre Hopkins, who went to the Cardinals last season. So, yeah, I mean, Ryan, are you a Texans fan?
I'm not really a fan of the Texans, but I like Deshaun Watson. I'm a fan of J.J. Watt also. He's a hard-working player, great morals, and one of the greatest football players to ever play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, no matter how heartbroken I am that he's not with the Steelers, I think I'm just glad that he's not done playing yet.
Me too, Katie.
Yeah.
Well, in the world of Ouachita sports, the wrestling team wrapped up its season this week, and you got to talk to them about it. So here's more about that.
Wrestling is a sport that requires close contact over an extended period of time. Because of that, the sport has had many changes due to COVID. I had a chance to catch up with freshman Evan Kennedy about his first season of collegiate wrestling here at Ouachita.
In high school, you just have to worry about practice one time a day. In college, it's more like you wake up and it's wrestling practice, and throughout the day, you're just thinking about wrestling, and then you have practice in the afternoon, and then you have study hall at night, and it's just kind of like all day is wrestling pretty much.
The team was able to play almost all of its matches this season. The wrestlers had to follow COVID guidelines when they were on the bench and went through weekly COVID tests.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, it was pretty rough because we couldn't even do contact for like the first 2 or 3 months, so we just had to do some like contactless practices for like the first 3 months, and then after that we had to wear masks for the rest of the time, and that sucked pretty bad because just adapting to just getting your breath. You used to be able to sit pretty close with your team, and now you're like really spread out, so it's just kind of a different atmosphere, and especially without the fans, there's not really like anything like in the stadium. It feels like it's like emptiness, I guess. But a match is pretty much the same. Don't have to wear a mask and same length, I guess.
Kennedy learned a lot this season, and it challenged him, but he is grateful for his team's support.
I feel like in the past this program has struggled a little bit, but I definitely feel like the group of guys we have in here now, we're going to change the atmosphere here at Ouachita.
For the Roar Rundown, I'm Katie Hatchett.
All right. The team finished its season at the NCAA Super Regional Tournament in Edmond, Oklahoma on February 28th. The Tigers placed 8th out of 10 teams, but sadly will not advance to the Division II championship next weekend.
Ouachita's basketball teams competed in the quarterfinal round of the GAC tournament on Wednesday night. The men's team took on Oklahoma Baptist in Shawnee and lost 97-78. The women's team played Southwestern Oklahoma State University in Weatherford and lost with a score of 89-66. Both teams are officially done with their season.
The cross-country team competed in the GAC championship last weekend, and the Tigers placed 5th out of 11 teams. They're now gearing up for track season, which starts with the Hendricks Open in Conway tomorrow.
The softball team's in Searcy playing a 3-game series against Harding this weekend. The Tigers are 2-1 conference and will play a midweek game at Henderson on March 9th before facing Southern Arkansas University at home next weekend.
The baseball team is 0-3 in conference after last weekend's losses, but the Tigers are back in Arkadelphia this weekend for a 3-game series against the Bisons at Harding University. The Tigers will play in a doubleheader starting at noon tomorrow, and then will finish the weekend with a single game on Sunday afternoon. The team will play on the road against SAU next weekend.
The swim teams finished their season with a trip to the NSISC championship last week, and both teams had swimmers make the podium several times. Overall, the women placed 3 out of 6 teams, while the men placed 5th out of 5 teams.
The women's tennis team is 0-3 in conference and was supposed to play against Harding this afternoon, but the match has been postponed. The Tigers will play their next match against SAU on March 11th. The men's team is 0-1 in conference and is set to play a non-conference match at home against the University of West Alabama on Sunday.
The women's soccer team started conference play with a 3-1 victory against Southern Nazarene University on Monday. The team will be in Oklahoma this weekend facing off against Southwestern Oklahoma State University before returning home to play East Central University next weekend. The men's team will face off against Fort Hays State tomorrow and will play at home against Rogers State next weekend.
The volleyball team is 2-3 in conference after losing to Arkansas Tech in Russellville on Tuesday. The Tigers played against Harding and Searcy yesterday and will face SAU at home on March 9th.
That's all we have for you this week, but be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Roar Rundown.
And as always, stay purple, Tiger Nation.